This episode of Young and Pregnant starts off with Brianna and Danae talking about bathing their baby, or more accurately, Brianna's baby. Danae holds Brayson while Brianna washes him, and they sort of argue during it. Danae randomly puts Brayson down in the middle of the bath and then accuses Brianna of not doing it right. Brianna admits they've been fighting more and more since her labor. Kayla's due date is in a week, and Stefan is ignoring all her calls. She drives to a nearby college and tries to sign up for college classes. The admissions officer was 16 and pregnant too, so she warns Kayla that only 2% of teen moms end up getting a college degree. It isn't going to be easy to balance work, school, and a baby. Lexi and Kyler wrote some possible baby names on slips of paper, and they try to separate the ones that they definitely don't want from the possibilities. They managed to narrow it down to about 3 possible names. Soon enough, it's time for Lexi to give birth. Lexi's mom is very nervous, saying she's about to have a stroke. Lexi herself is relaxed as usual. She's moaning in pain, but she seems pretty chill still. After a labor that thankfully looked easier than Brianna's, Tobias Riker Lopez de Luna was born. Sean and Jade have not been getting along since he quote-unquote quit his job. Really, Jade suspects he got fired because even though he said he put his 2 weeks in, he didn't go back in after that day. She says she feels like she can't trust him anymore. Jade calls her trashy mom for advice, and her mom says, "Put his ass out, that bitch." But Jade is more mature about it. She's like, "Oh, I can't do that." She confronts Sean and says he doesn't pay any attention to her. He says, "You're a big girl, I don't need to give you any attention. You could take care of yourself." They end up having a blowout fight. Jade leaves with the baby, and then Sean says, "I love you," even though they were fighting, and she says, "Fuck off," right back. Ashley is having contractions as soon as she gets back from her trip, so they all head to the hospital. Shen still couldn't get cleared to travel out there because of her heart problems, and it's probably best for Ashley's sanity that she's not there. Ashley says she feels like her body's ripping apart and she's in a lot of pain. When Bar tries to comfort her, she's like, "Don't touch me," so he leans away, and then she's like, "Don't touch the pillow either." In all seriousness though, I think their relationship seems like the strongest one on the show, even if they have their flaws. I don't see Bar working on his mixtape like Sean was during Jade giving birth. Ashley's cervix is not opening up and they recommend a C-section. She really didn't want one, and Pastor T suggests they don't do that either and that she should wait another hour. But after an hour, the doctor says they pretty much have to do a C-section, so Ashley and Bar go off into the operating room. And a little bit later, Holly Isabella is born. It's a baby girl, despite what Pastor T's hat says. Danae and Brianna are exhausted from the baby. Danae looks at Brianna and demands, "Go do my laundry, I have no clothes." And she's like, "Well, I was gonna do my own, never said I was doing yours." And his response to that is, "Go do the dishes too while you're at it." Boy, like, okay, I do think he was sort of joking in his own way, but Brianna's a stressed new mom and she was not having that. She gets pretty angry while she's grabbing the laundry and they start to fight for real. They curse each other out a little bit, and then Brianna slams the door when she leaves the room. Danae seems to think that because he works, he doesn't have to do any household chores. But if he's committed to being the role of the baby's father, he should at least try to help Brianna out once in a while. Danae tries to take Brayson outside, and Brianna vetoes that pretty quick, so Danae leaves to take a walk by himself, after cursing at Brianna, of course. I think that scene shows that deep down, Brianna really doesn't see Danae as the father. Kayla and her mom discuss why she keeps letting Stefan around even when he continues to flake on her. She admits she does it because she feels like if she cuts him off from the relationship, he won't try to be around for his kid either and he'll just disappear. Kayla's mom tells her she can't placate him forever, and if she continues to do that, it's going to disappoint her son in the long run when he doesn't show up for him like he's not shown up for her. Brianna admits that when she and Danae are arguing, she sometimes snatches the baby out of his hands. She feels bad about that, and she says their fights wouldn't be so bad if a baby wasn't in the picture. Jade stays at her friend Vanessa's house for the night, and they talk about the fight. Jade says she basically lives as a single mom. She knows Sean just quit or got fired to play video games. She says she doesn't want to be with him anymore. Shen calls Bar and she's like, "Hey, Daddy." Maybe it wouldn't be so creepy if she didn't keep calling him fine ass a couple episodes ago. She says she felt bad she couldn't be at the birth, and she even cried when she found out Ashley had to have a C-section because she was worried for her. She congratulates Bar on being a new father. Pastor T is happy to see Bar is so supportive. Ashley is also confident he's not going to walk out on her. Kayla and her friend talk about Stefan again, and her friend agrees she gives Stefan way too many chances. He still isn't answering his phone to come over and make a plan with her and her mom. Stefan didn't show up to her house when she asked him to, so she doesn't even know if she wants him there for the birth anymore. Brianna tries to have a mature conversation with Danae about how she takes the baby from him. She admits she knows she's wrong and she's sorry. Danae says it reminds him the baby does not have his DNA. And then he has the nerve to compare Brianna to an abusive man or something. He says she's committing domestic violence by keeping the baby from him. Here's the thing, since he's not the baby's dad, he doesn't have any rights to the baby. So she has every right to keep him away if she wants to, especially with the way he's acting. Maybe if he wanted to be treated like the real father, he should help her out. Brianna says if they keep fighting, she doesn't even want to do this anymore. Ironically, even though Jade's mom was telling Jade to kick Sean's ass out that bitch earlier for not having a job, Christy's unemployed ass is now in that bitch because she and her unemployed husband got kicked out of their hotel, and Jade was nice enough to let them stay at her place. So Jade is now parent to 4 babies, apparently. While Jade's parents are passed out on her bed, Sean and Jade argue about whether to continue their relationship. Jade tells him she wants to move out, and Sean starts crying. He says he loves her and still wants to work on things, but she says, well, I don't want to work on things. She feels like everything fell apart. And that's all for this episode of Young and Pregnant. Now it's only Kayla who hasn't had her baby yet. Do you feel like Danae will stay a father figure after his and Brianna relationship ends? And will Stefan even step up at all? Tell me how you felt about this episode in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for recaps every week.